Hey there, and welcome back to the 2013 season of Inside Butler Football. I'm your host, JoJo Gentry. The Butler football team cruised to a 49-24 home season opener victory against Wittenberg University Saturday night. In just a few moments, we'll be joined by Butler head football coach Jeff Forrest to talk about last week's game and to take a look at the games ahead. Stay with us on Inside Butler Football. We welcome you back to Inside Butler Football. Butler head coach Jeff Forrest joins me today. Coach, thank you for being in the studio.
Glad to be here, JoJo.
So Butler's had an interesting start to its season so far, but as people may or may not know, a lot of work goes into the off season.
Sure.
So what kinds of work went into the spring semester, and overall, how did you think the team performed?
The spring's a great time for, especially it gets young guys to get involved in the program, and you create some depth. You create an opportunity for them to play where they might not have contributed the season before. It also provides opportunities for the upperclassmen to really focus on the fundamentals and technique of their position, and the coaching staff to kind of tinker with the schemes a little bit as far as different ideas or new wrinkles they might want to be looking at. So a lot of work gets done in the spring in those 15 practices.
And as you know, the off-season is a time when the freshmen have the opportunity to develop and evolve within the program. So what have you seen in the young freshmen that you weren't able to see in the fall?
Well, I think we got a lot of young guys that didn't have an opportunity last fall that came on in the spring and have created a lot of depth for us, and some of them are playing. I mean, we have 17, 18 returning starters, but when we headed over to South Dakota State the other week and you look on the flight and you're like, man, there's a lot of guys that are traveling for the first time. So we're really pleased with how the young guys have developed. We're excited about where our veteran group has continued to make strides, and look forward to a great year.
And during the summer, there's not as much contact with the players on a day-to-day basis. So how do you think the team performed coming into and throughout the fall season?
I thought we were in really good shape. That's the thing that you notice the most on the first day is just the look and the bounce that they have, the energy they have coming back, and the conditioning the first couple days of practice, how they're flying around and competing and doing those things. So I thought we did a great job, and I know here on campus Coach Peel does a great job with the guys that stay, but we get quite a few that go home too. It's just the nature of our program. So the guys that went home that were on their own, committed to doing things the right way and being ready to play, and the guys here, we're no question they're ready to play because Coach Peel provided that opportunity for them.
And coming from fall camp, Butler had a tough loss season opener to number 6 South Dakota State. So what did you learn from facing a top 10 FCS team?
Well, I think every time you line up against a team like that, you're going to come away with an education. They are every bit as good as their ranking says. But I think the biggest thing with us is we got in the game and settled down. They jumped on us quick, but we got our feet underneath us. We kind of took a deep breath and got a stop on defense and went down and scored and made it a 7-7 game. And at that point, they kept raising the bar a little bit, and naturally, when you're playing that level, you gotta show up every play and be ready to go. So I think that game not only showed us that we can compete when we do it, but we got to compete down in and down out. And we didn't do that well enough when you play a team like that. And down the road, hopefully, we get another opportunity.
And what kinds of things did you and the team work on during the off season that you saw in the first game?
Well, I think the biggest thing that you're always trying to work on is just your fundamental play. the techniques that each position has to do. I think there was some real improvement there. You try to work on your depth. I think we got more guys. I think it showed on special teams where you got some really good special teams play out of some guys. And every year you tinker with a play here or a scheme there or a different alignment or front or whatever it might be. So there's some things that we have for the season that we're looking forward to, and we're just looking. I think we did a good job as far as getting ourselves ready to go, just not only physically, but also as far as our techniques.
So how does playing a team like South Dakota State help Butler if the Dogs were to make postseason play?
Well, I think right away you know that the bar at that level is raised pretty high, but there's no reason why we can't compete to that level. We just have to do it on a more consistent basis than we did last a week ago when we went out there. I think that's the biggest thing is there's some improvement that needs to be done and time to get it done, and if fortunate enough to have another opportunity, I'm sure we'd be better prepared for it.
But despite the 55-14 loss against the Jackrabbits, the Dogs came back and won the first game of the season on home turf against Wittenberg. So going into the game, what did you expect from the Butler team?
Well, I mean, we expected we do things the way that we expect, and we wanted our guys to go back to work and understand that it's about the preparation is how you win football games. It's not when the ball's kicked off, it's what you do during the week, preparing yourself, your mind, your body, watching tape, lifting weights, doing all those things. The amount of investment you need to have to win football games is very high, and so we went back to work and we said, hey, we're going to work a little bit harder, we're going to work a little bit longer, and we're going to have more energy and enthusiasm about how we do our jobs, and that's the way we wanted to play. And I thought each day the practice, we got a little better and better each day, and by the time we kicked off Saturday night, they were ready to go.
So how big of an impact were the defensive takeaways and their ability to score touchdowns?
I mean, it was huge. I mean, you were able to create a little gap or distance there at the beginning of the game to make you breathe a little easier. But I think that when you play a team like Wittenberg, I mean, it's hard to play for 60 minutes. It's hard to win games. And when you play a team that has had success and knows how to win, you can't give them any any hope or where they see the light at the end of the tunnel. So that first turnover that we ended up scoring on provided that little bit of a gap that helped us. And then they scored a second time late in the half, but also had a couple other turnovers that the offense then moved down the field and scored on. So I mean, the game of football, it's all field position and creating short fields, and the defense was able to do that and made our job a lot easier.
So Butler plays away at Franklin next Saturday, and Franklin is ranked 19th in Division III football. And knowing that they came off a 30-27 loss to Mount Union, who was ranked number 1 in Division III football, what kinds of plans do you have to keep the players motivated to keep being successful?
Well, I mean, we're going to go back to work and start all over. We have a huge challenge Saturday, just like we did last week. It's to some extent it's going to be mirror images that you got a team that has won a lot of football games. I mean, they have like 20 starters back. I mean, they're a veteran team. They have preseason All-Americans. They're as well coached as anybody. So there's another challenge, but the way we go about our business is if we need to take care of ourselves, and the preparation's key, and it doesn't matter who you're playing. If you're playing South Dakota State, Wittenberg, Franklin, who's ever next, your preparation and how you go about the week has to be the same. I mean, it's really got to be a nameless, faceless opponent. It's about you and the pride you take in your job and doing all the little things right to get yourself ready to go. And as far as the motivation, I mean, that's an internal deal. I mean, our guys enjoy playing football. We got great leadership that, and got a great locker room. That those things are going to continue to happen because it's become the culture and the brand of what we're doing. So we're excited to get back to work, and we'll be ready by Saturday.
And Butler defeated Franklin last year 42-13. Having them played them last year, what do you expect to be different about the Grizzlies this year?
Well, they're going to be ready to play. I mean, last year's game was very similar to last week's Wittenberg game, where we were able to get a lead, and I think they're going to play with much more passion, much more excitement from the beginning, and how it all plays out is based on our preparation and where we go from there. But they're going to be ready for us. They got the same guys playing, and it's at their place, first night game in the history of their school. They're going to be excited. The crowd's going to be involved, and our guys are got to be ready to go. I mean, it's going to be an exciting football game. It's going to be a lot of fun, and our preparation the next couple days is going to determine the outcome.
Well, best of luck to you, Coach, and thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it, JoJo.
I'm JoJo Gentry with Inside Butler Football. Thanks for watching.